Hey guys and girls, Michael Warren here from Essential Guitar Lessons, and let's learn how to play Fool for Your Lovin' on guitar by Whitesnake. This is a Steve Vai version. So this is a great song for intermediate to advanced players to tackle, just in standard E tuning. We'll go over the rhythm and then we'll finish with the solo. Don't forget, if you like this lesson, to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Songs and lessons uploaded weekly. If you're having any problems with the song, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Or if there's a song you'd like to learn, let me know. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with the intro, and this riff he uses is basically the same throughout the verse with just some small changes. So we start on an E power chord, 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret on the A and the D. We play that once and slide it up 2 frets. So we're just sliding up to the A power chord there. Then we do a palm mute on the open A string. Now we're going to play C power chord, but just playing the 5th fret on the D, G and B. We play that once. Then we play a D power chord, so 7th fret on the D, G and B once, and then back to the 5th fret again on the D, G and B. So slowly. Then we're going to slide up to that 5th fret on the D, G and B again and do it 2 times. Do a palm mute on the open A string again, and then just play the 7th fret on the D, G and B again there. And you can put a bit of vibrato on that. So let's do that slowly now. And up to speed. And then we do that all again. G power chord sliding up to the A. Palm mute on the A. Our 5, 7, 5, sliding up to the 5 2 times. Our open A again, palm mute, and then we're going to finish on a G. So we're going to have an open D string, open G string, 3rd fret on the B string there, and just play that once. So let me play that whole riff for you slowly there. And he just does that through 2 times. Let's play that up to speed. So then to finish off the intro, he's going to do a bend on the 7th fret on the G string with a pinched harmonic. And he's also going to come in with his bar when he's doing that. And then we're just going to hit the top E string and keep the bar going down as well. So, and that finishes off our intro there. So now let's tackle the verses. So the start of the verse, instead of doing a slide from the G to the A, he just plays the open A string, and then we keep it the same. 5 on the D, G and B once, 7 on the D, G and B, 5 on the D, G and B, slide up to the 5 2 times, palm mute on the A and then the 7th fret. So the riff's staying exactly the same except for that first part, we're not doing that, and the palm mute on the A, so just... Then the second part stays exactly the same as the second part we did in the intro. And back to that G there. So So that stays exactly the same. So let me play that first part of the verse for you. And then we go back to the first part again with the slide, so slowly. And go back again, doing our slide up, finishing on our G. Then from there he puts a slide in, and we just go back to the open A again, and we do the riff the same there. Now this is where it changes. We're going to do a slide up on the G, same again, palm mute on the A open, 5 on the D, G and B, so the same start as before, 7, 5, and now we're going to put a little fill in there. On the G string we're going to play 5, pull off the 2, pull off to the open. Then do the same on the D, so we have, and then we're going to have 5 on the A string, pull off to 3, slide back up to 5, so slowly. And let's do that part up to speed, just that little fill there. So let's put that little part together just so you can hear how it fits in. Then from there we're just going back to the first riff again, slide up, palm mute, 5, 7, 5, slide into 5, palm mute 7, and then finish it off the same on the G. And that's our verse. So the only difference is we have the open A on the first one, and on the third one when we do the slide we have the open A again. So let me play that verse for you up to speed. So that's our verse there. The only really tricky part is remembering when the open A comes in after our slide and at the start, and our little fill there. So our next part is a pre-chorus, and this stays the same each time. We're actually going to play a D minor 7 there, but we're just going to play the 5th fret on the A, the 7th fret on the D. Then we're going to play the 6th fret on the B and the 5th fret on the G. And then come back, palm mute the 5th fret on the A, 6 and 5 again on the G and B, palm mute on the A, 6 and 5 again. So we have, and then we're just going to play an E minor 7, so 7th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D string, sorry, 7th fret on the G string, and 8th fret on the B string. Play that and slide down, and then we're going to do a palm mute on the E string, and then we're going to play an E minor 7, and we're going to do that as an upstroke. So open E string, 3rd fret on the G, open G string, and you can play the 2nd fret on the D string as well. So let me do that part slowly for you. It's a little bit confusing, that. So. And then from there we're going to palm mute the 3rd fret on the E string, and then up to the 5th fret, 3rd fret on the A string, back to the 5th fret on the E string, and we do that twice. And then we're going to slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the A string. Then we play the 5th fret on the D string, palm mute the 7th fret on the A string, and then the 5th fret on the G string. So let me play that whole section for you slowly, then we'll do it up to speed. And we do that that through 2 times. Let's do that up to speed now. And that's our pre-chorus there, up to speed. Now let's tackle our chorus. So with our chorus, we're starting on an F power chord, 1st fret on the E string, 3rd fret on the A and the D. We play that once. Then just slide up 2 frets, our G power chord once. Slide up 2 frets, our A power chord once. Then we do a palm mute on the 12th fret on the A string. And play the 12th fret on the G and the 13th fret on the B. Now a second guitar plays the 15th fret on, when we hit that 12 and 13 on the G and the B, the second guitar hits the 15th fret on the E and the B. So we're just barring there, so slowly. And that second guitar, and up to speed. And we just do that 2 times. So then from there we play that F power chord again, the G power chord again, then we do an E power chord, so open E string, 2nd fret on the A and the D once, and then do an upstroke on the open E and B. Then play an A power chord, so open A string, 2nd fret on D and the G. Now we're going to play the 3rd fret on the G, on the E string, G note, back to the A. So come up to our D minor 7 again. We're playing the 5th and the 5th fret on the D, 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the D. Play that once. Our 5th fret on the G, 6th fret on the B once. Palm muting on the 5th fret on the A, 2 times on our G and B. Then slide from 5 to 7 on the A, and just play that E minor 7 chord again there, so just 9th fret on the D, 7th fret on the G and 8th fret on the B there. Let that slide down, and then we're just going to do palm mutes on the E power chord, so open E string, 2nd fret on the A, so 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and then just play an E power chord coming up, 7th fret on the A, 9th fret on the D and the G, and the second guitar on that part's playing the 12th fret on the E, B and G. Oh, we can do an upstroke there, so on that last E, second guitar plays there. So let me play that second part of the chorus slowly, then we'll put the whole thing up to speed. So from our F, and up to speed the whole chorus there. Then we have the end of the chorus there. Now you can play octave chords here if you're playing it by yourself, but it actually sounds like there's 2 different guitar parts. So we're going to do a half bend on the 3rd fret on the E string, and just play the A power chord, open A string, 2nd fret on the D and the G. So this is guitar 1. On the A string we're going to slide from the 5th fret to the 7th, and then play the 5th fret, and then 3rd fret A palm mute, 2nd fret on the A, palm mute the 3rd fret on the E, and finish on the A power chord. It does that 2 times, so slowly. We do it again. And just finish on the palm mute on the 3rd fret on the E string, because we go back to the verse after that. So up to speed. And the second guitar is playing 7 slide to 9 on the G string, and then the 7th fret. So, and then 4 slide to 5, and then play the 4 on the G string, and then 5 slide to 7. So slowly. And up to speed. Then the second time we're going to go 10, slide up to 12 on the E string, and play the 10 again. Then on the B string we have 11, slide to 13, back to 12 on the B string, and then 12, slide to 14 on the G string. So slowly. And up to speed. So that second guitar, let's put that together now. And we come up. So if you want to, you can do that part with octave chords. So whatever we did on the A string for our guitar 1, just play the G string there as an octave chord, but just 2 frets up, like you're playing a power chord, but down a string. So, and then just do the 3rd fret and the A. So you could play it if you wanted to there, just to fill it out if you're just playing it by yourself. Then from there we go back to the next verse. Let's go over that now. So the next verse, the riff's the same as our first verse. We play the open A string, our C, D to C, sliding up to C, palm mute on the open A string and our D, and then just sliding up G to A, palm mute. So all exactly the same. Then we do that again. G slide up to A, palm mute on the A, our C, D, C. It's going to change a little bit. We're going to slide up to our C 2 times. Now we're going to do a bend on the 7th fret there on the G string. So a bend, release, pull off back to 5, and then just 7 on the D string, pull off to 5 there. So, and then the open A string, C, D, C, back to the C, and then finishing on our G there with the palm mute on the A first. So let me play that next verse slowly for you. Speed now with that new little filling, and we go straight back to the open A to start the next riff there. So up to speed. And that's our second verse. Then our pre-chorus stays nearly exactly the same as we did before. The D minor 7, up to our E minor 7, our palm mute on the E, and our E minor 7, our fill. And then again. The only change is here, he just plays the E power chord and doesn't do the upstroke there. So it's just open E string, 2nd fret on the A and the D, and the rest stays the same with our. So let me play that part for you up to speed. This is our second pre-chorus. So you can see the only difference there is we're just holding that E power chord instead of putting the upstroke in on the E minor 7. So our second chorus is going to stay exactly the same except for the very last chord. Instead of playing that E power chord at the end there, just play the E minor 7 as an upstroke. So open E string, 3rd fret on the B, and open G string there. So that's going to be the only difference. Let me play that for you. So it's only that last chord that's different. Now this fill changes a little bit as well. We're going to do, again, a bend on the 3rd fret on the E string, play the A chord. Now this is going to stay the same, guitar 1's going to stay the same. Now 5, slide to 7, play 5 on the A string, palm mute on the 3rd fret A string, 2nd fret on the A string, palm mute on the 3rd fret, and then the open A chord. And we do that through 2 times. Let's play that. And then the 3rd one's going to be slightly different. We're going to still do our 5, slide to 7, back to 5, palm mute on the 3rd, 2nd fret. Then we're going to do 2 palm mutes on the E, 3rd fret on the E, and then 3 palm mutes. So that last little part. And that's right before the solo there. Now the second guitar is just going to be playing 7, slide up to 9, 7 on the G string, 4, slide to 5 on the G, back to 4, and 5, slide to 7. So it just does that 3 times, and that's guitar time. Now again, you can do that as octave chords if you want. So our solo rhythm, we're going to start on an A power chord, open A string, 2nd fret on the D and the G, play that once, and then do an upstroke on the E and the B string on the 5th fret. Now in the solo, he does a slide here, so you can put that in if you want, and then we just play a C power chord, 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the D and the G, we play that once, 2 palm mutes, and then move up to the D power chord, 5th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the D and the G, so, and then 3rd fret on the E string, slide up to the 5th fret, play the 5th fret on the E and the B as an upstroke, and then we're just going to do a down, up, down, up, down. So that first part slowly. Then we're just going to play the 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the E string. Then we're going to start with our bar in and come up on the 3rd fret. So slowly. So the first line of the solo rhythm, let's play that up to speed. Then we just play the open A string, an A minor power chord, so 2nd fret on the D and the G, 1st fret on the B string, play that once, 2 palm mutes on the open A, play the A minor again, 2 palm mutes on the open A, and then our C, palm mute on the 3rd fret, and our D power chord, so then we go back to our A minor again, open A string, our A minor, 2 palm mutes on the A string, our A minor, 2 palm mutes on the A string, and then do our little run like we did before with our bar. 3, 2 on the A, 5 on the E, come in and play the 3. So that line slowly. Up to speed, that second line of the solo. Then from there we're going to our D minor 7, so 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the D, play that once, our 5 and 6 on G and B, 2 palm mutes on our 5 and 7, and then our 5 and 6 again, so come up to the E minor 7, so 7th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D, play that once, and then 8th fret on the B, 7th fret on the G once, palm mute on the 7 and 9, A and D, and then just play the 8 and 7 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, so slowly. And then we just do our little run like we did before. 3, 5, 3, 5, and again. Now to finish that off, we're playing the C power chord, 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the D and the G, and then an A power chord, open A string, 2nd fret on D and G. And then we do that D minor 7 again, the same. E minor 7, the same. Our fill again, or our little, and then we just do like we did in the pre-chorus, 5 slide to 7 on the A, 5 on the D, palm mute on the 7 on the A, and 5 on the G. So let me play that whole solo rhythm for you now. That's the rhythm there behind the solo. Now the last chorus is going to be similar, it's just going to be the end that's changing. So we still have our F, G, A, 2 times. Now it changes a little bit here. We're going to play that D minor 7 once, the 5 and the 6 on the G and B, palm mute on the A string, 5th fret, and then 2 times on the B and the G, and then just finish on the E power chord, so 7th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D and the G, do a pick slide and down with our bar there. So let me play that up to speed for you. Just pushing down with our bar there. Now, sounds like he's playing octave chords in this next part. So we have our 3 on the E string, the bend there, A power chord, after our. So we're going to have 5, slide up to 7, back to 5, and on the G string 7, 9, 7. 2, slide up to 3, back to 2 on the A string, and 4, 5 and 4 on the G string, and then our 3rd fret on the E string and then A. So it does that 8 times. And again. And we do that 8 times, and then it changes. Guitar 1 is going to play the octave chord, 5, slide to 7, back to 5. And then it's going to play 7, slide up to 10, back to 7. So, and then on the G string 9, 12, 9. And then 12 on the A string, slide up to 15, back to 12, and on the G string 14, 17, 14. And then we're just going to play the 2nd fret on the D and the G, and to finish off the G power chord, coming up to the A power chord there. Let's do that part slowly. On that A power chord, we just play it and stop it, and there's the delay playing it back again, and then we finish with our G, G, A. So up to speed. Now guitar 2 is going to play 15, slide up to 17, back to 15. And then 17, slide up to 20, back to 17. All on the B string, and then on the E string, 17, slide to 19, and back to 15. Just on that last part, so slowly. And that part up to speed. So this is guitar 2 just playing over our octave chords when they come up the last time. And that gives us all the parts to the song there. Now it sounds like there's some harmonics right at the very end, just on a clean sound. So we can just play the 7th fret, E, B, G, D, A, and E, and then the 5th fret from the G. So G, D, A, E. So that's just on a clean sound there. So they're all the parts of the song. Now let's tackle the solo. So we're going to start with a slide up to the 14th fret on the G string, and then play 12 on the G, 13 on the B at the same time, and slide back. So then we do a pick slide, and then just a slide down with our hand, and then from there we play the 5th fret on the G string, and we do a little half bend. Then palm mute the 7th fret and the 5th fret on the D. Then do a bend on the 7th fret on the G. We're going to tap on the 19th fret, so we're going to do a bend and release, then tap on the 19th fret on the G, pull off back to 17, and then do a bend on the 20th fret on the B. And then we're going to play 17 on the D and the G and slide back. So playing that through slowly now, starting with the slide on the 14. Then we're going to do a little mute on the E and the B string, just down up, and then play the 8th fret on the E and the B, and then do a bend on the 8th fret on the B, 5 on the E, 8, 5 on the B, back to 5 on the E, do a bend on the 7th fret on the G and a release, pull off back to 5, and then just play the 7, and you can put some vibrato on there, so slowly. So let me play that first part up to speed for you now. So then from there we're going to a bend on the 10th fret on the B string, play the 8th fret on the E, and we do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to come up to the 15th fret on the B string, do a bend and release, pull off to 13, play the 14 on the G, slide up to 19, and then a pinched harmonic on the 19 there. So. Then from there we're doing a little half bend on the 7th fret on the E string, pull off back to the 5th fret, hammer onto the 8th fret on the B, pull off to the 5th fret on the B, play the 7th fret on the E, and then the 8th fret on the B there. So. Then we're going to push down with our bar on the G string, open, let it come back up. Just hammer onto the 7th fret on the G string and then down with our bar on the D string. So doing that part slowly. So down and out on the D string now. And from there we've got these little octave chords. We're going to start on the 14th fret on the D and the 17th fret on the B, and that shape's going to stay the same. So we have 14, 17, play that, slide back to 12 and 15, 12 and 15, slide back to 10 and 13, play 10 and 13, slide to 9 and 12, slide back to 7 and 10, play 7 and 10, slide up to 9 and 12, and play 9 and 12 again. So slowly. And then from there we're coming back to 7 and 10, slide down to 5 and 8, 5 and 8, slide up to 7 and 10, and slide back to 2 and 5 there. So all on the D and the B string, so slowly. And up to speed. And then from there we go into our tapping. So we're going to tap on the 12th fret, pull off the 10, pull off the 8, pull off the 7, hammer on 8, hammer on 10, all on the E string, tap on 12 again, pull off the 10, pull off the 8, pull off the 7. So from there we're going to tap on 12 on the B string, pull off to 10, pull off the 8, pull off the 6. And then tap on 12 on the G string, pull off the 10, 9, 7, hammer back on 9, tap on 10, pull off to 9, pull off to 7, slide back to 4, hammer on 5, hammer on 7, tap on 12 again, pull off to 7, pull off to 5, pull off to 4. Now tap on 12 on the D string, pull off to 7, 5, 3. Go back to the G string, tap on 12, 7, 5, 4. On the D string, tap on 12, 7, 5, 3. A string, 12, 7, 5, 3. Back to the D string, tap on 12, 5, 3, 2. Tap on 12 on the A string, 5, 3, 2. Pull off to the open, hammer on 2, slide up to 7. All on the A string, and then hammer on 9 on the G string. Now as soon as he finishes in that tapping, that slide up, the other guitar is starting another octave chord there. So let's do that tapping a bit slowly. Let's do that tapping bit up to speed so you can hear how that's going to sound. And then from there, the second guitar comes in, and we're doing octaves again here. So we're going to come up to the 16th fret on the G, the 19th fret on the E string. So we're now on the G and the E, not the D and the B. Play that and slide back to 12 and 15. Play that again, slide up to 14 and 17, play it again, slide back to 9 and 12, play it again, slide up to 12 and 15. So doing that part slowly. And then from there we're going to change to the D on the 12th fret and the B on the 15, play that and slide back to 9 and 12, 9 and 12, slide up to 10 and 13, 10 and 13, we're sliding back to 7 and 10. So there, so up to speed. And then from there we're going to do another tap on the 12th fret on the E string, pull off the 10, pull off the 8, pull off the 7. Then we're just hammering on 10 on the B, pull off the 8, pull off the 7, and then we do that again, tap on 12 E, 10, 8, 7, 10 on the B, pull off the 8, pull off the 6. Then we're going to hammer on 8 and slide up to 10 there on the B, and then to finish 10, slide up to 22 and then play it again. So that last little part slowly. And that last little part up to speed. And that's the last part of the solo, so let's put the whole thing together one more time, up to speed. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you soon.